Hello, Mr. Chu here with Brack Geometry. When I do my Brack Geometry videos, I often wear a tie. This happens to be a tie with a computer screen on it, lots of monitors. There's a mouse or two mice chasing after some cheese because I use a mouse with my computer. All right, we're going to talk about the area of trapezoids, and these are the student challenge problems from lesson 7.04B where I introduced how to do this. So I asked students try these problems. So let's work through them and see how well you did. So challenge 1 said that if I have base 1, my top base is 12 meters, base 2, my bottom base is 20 meters, and my height is 8 meters, what is the area? So area equals 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. So now I just use substitution property of equality and then solve the equation. So I don't know the area, so that's what I'm solving for. I do know the height is 8 meters. I do know base 1 is 12 meters. And I know base 2 is 20 meters. All right, now I can simplify inside the parentheses. So the area is 1/2 times 8 meters times 12 meters plus 20 meters is 32 meters. Okay? Now, I have to use the order of operations and multiply from left to right. So I do the 1/2 times 8 meters first. And 1/2 times 8 meters is 2 meters. And then I'm going to multiply it by 32 meters. So 2 times 32 is 64, and meters times meters is meters squared. Now remember, when you're finding area, it will always be in square units, and it is in square units, 64 meters squared. So how did you do? Let's try challenge 2, a little bit harder problem. It says now we have a trapezoid. I don't know what the top base is, but I know the bottom base is 8 inches, and I know the height is 4 inches, and the total area is 48 inches squared. So I can substitute all of these into the equation and then use algebra to find what B1 equals when I solve the equation step by step using inverse operations. So let's go ahead and let's substitute. Where the A is, I'm going to put 48 inches squared. 1/2 times the height, which is 4 inches. B1, I don't know, so I just write a B1 plus B2, which is 8 inches. All right, so now I have to simplify this before I can do the distributive property. So 1/2 of 4 inches is going to be 2 inches. Times B1 plus 8 inches in parentheses. Now, if you remember, I did an earlier video in my tray arithmetic curriculum where if you've got a number outside of parentheses, you have to do what's called the distributive property. So I have to distribute that 2 inches in multiplication across the B1 plus the 8 inches. So I have 48 inches squared equals 2 inches times B1, and I just write 2 inches, then I use a raised dot times B1, plus 2 inches times 8 is 16, inch times inch is inches squared. All right, so now I have what's called a two-step equation that you learned how to solve in algebra class. So I need to move the plus 16 inches from the right to left, and you do that by using the inverse operation, and the inverse or opposite of adding 16 inches squared is subtracting 16 inches squared. And if I subtract it from the right, I have to subtract it from the left. We use what's called the subtraction property of equality to do that. And 16 inches squared minus 16 inches squared is 0. So I have 48 inches squared minus 16 inches squared, which is 32 inches squared. And you might have heard the door squeak. You might have seen it open a little bit. That's because Bear came in. And he is the mascot of Bear Algebra. And that equals 2 inches times b sub 1 plus 0, which is 2 inches times b sub 1. Now I can take and write 32 inches squared as 32 inches times inches. And the reason I do that is to just make it very simple whenever I divide both sides by 2 inches. So I divide the left by 2 inches and the right by 2 inches. And now, inches over inches is 1. And some teachers would say it cancels out. It doesn't really cancel. It is just a common factor that ends up being 1 over 1, which is 1. Same thing here. Same thing here. And then 32 divided by 16, or 32 divided by 2, is 16, and inches equals b sub 1, and that is my missing measure. And I can come up here and I can say this equals 16 inches. And then I can say, voila, I'm done. So how did you do? Area's not that hard if you just write down everything and solve it step by step. I'm Mr. Chu. This is Brack Geometry. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can see more. There will be a link over here in this corner for you to do it. I look forward to helping you. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. Guess who's going to answer them? I will. I'll see you next time. There will be a link up here to my original lesson, a link down here to other Brack Geometry problems and lessons and videos. And I'll see you next time, and you can check out, did he wear the same tie or a different tie? Later.